Welcome to physics. This is our third skill building activity, and we're focusing on observations. This will also act as an introduction to our motion unit, as we're going to see some velocity, we're going to see some acceleration, and some of the units that we're going to be talking about as we go into our motion unit. So, uh, this lab does a little bit of everything, and hopefully we will all feel successful with it. And if not, hopefully this video will help. So here we are. Our objective is to practice making observations as we become familiar with GoFormative, right? We're still using this platform and becoming more familiar with it. And PhET Labs. So PhET is a University of Colorado kind of program that they have, and they create these computer simulations to help teach science. So we're going to be using the Energy Skate Park to look at some motion and make observations. So again, getting back in the mindset of what does it mean to be a scientist. We've worked on communication and making claims and using evidence to make a reasoning statement. And then we are now taking it just one last step for observations. So the real goal is that you can practice following the directions step by step and then answering the questions. And again, it shouldn't be a calculation. In some cases, it might be a hypothesis, but then it really is just you making an observation. So if I open this link, that was step one. It's going to open up this computer simulation for Energy Skate Park. You select intro. Now in the bottom left corner, I believe step two says grid and reference height. And then step three is speed. So I wanted to go grid and reference height. And then in the top right corner is speed. And so this is one of the things I'm going to be observing. Then we're ready for the first question. So it says drag the skateboarder to 2 meters on the ramp. Let go and hit play and observe the skater's speed. So I'm going to go right here and let go, and I'm going to see the person go back and forth. Now with these observations, it's kind of hard to see, what is the max speed of this skateboarder, but I do see that it gets higher as they get closer to the middle here. So I can do slow motion, and I can try to stop it right at the bottom, and there's my observation. So if I take that back, I write exactly what I see, 6.2 meters per second. The program will format it a little differently, but that actually says the same thing. And again, as we're being introduced to some of the motion, this is meters per second, and that is a velocity. And really, it's going to be distance divided by time. And so that's how we can calculate velocity as we move into that. But again, we'll come back to that later. I just want to introduce that is what units we are going to be using most often, and that's a little explanation on them. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing and drag the skateboarder 4 meters on the ramp. So if I grab little person, hit play, 8.8. Again, 8.8 meters per second, and that's just an observation. So I don't want to do the whole thing for you, but you get the idea. Now it says go to 6 meters. So I would drag the person up to 6 meters. Then now I'm asking you to kind of interpret what you just observed. So what do you notice about this top speed as you change the starting height? Okay. Now let the skateboarder go back and forth, make observations. What do you notice happens? Okay. And then hypothesize, what do you think? Why do you think the skateboarder keeps going back and forth forever? Right? In real life, I want you to think about, does a skateboarder go back and forth forever? or is there something else in play? So, making that observation, making a hypothesis, and then that brings us down to step 7. Friction slider is here. Okay, and then you're going to be observing, well, what did adding friction do? And then based on your own observations, can you define friction? You don't have to look up a definition, nothing like that. But what happened? What did it do? Why did it do that? And maybe how does it work? And if you have background information or knowledge already, then you're welcome to use that. And that is our assignment today for skill building and observations.